The Mora Vasaloppet is held each year in Mora, Minnesota, located 65 miles north of the Twin Cities. It is the second largest cross-country ski race in the United States. One of Minnesota's star cities, Mora is proud of the 800-plus volunteers who helped put this event on. Nearly 1,700 skiers participated in this year's race. Let's listen as Denny Minks, Todd Rust, and Tony Verkenis of WQPM Radio Princeton call the start of the 1985 Mora Vasaloppet.
The 1985 Mora Vasaloppet. It'll be the 12th year for the race. There are two, of course, 58 kilometers for the, well, what can we say, world-class skiers, 32 kilometers for the folks trying to see how it goes. We have Denny Minks here. We have the whole QPM crew up here. Chris London with his little camera out, and Todd Rust wandering. We're still not sure what Todd's doing here. Mr. Minks, we make it to the start.
That's really, this is, I've never seen this before, and this is really something to see with all these people, and in just a couple of minutes here, the gates will open, and we'll get it all ready to go. They're just ready to pull it over there, Tony, and the race will begin.
See a couple of the last skiers heading in there. As I checked the Vasaloppet magazine that you get when you come here, the program, the last number I saw listed was 1766, so I'd be willing to bet we ended up with about 1,800 skiers this morning.
There is. There's a lot of them out here, and you know, with the two races, it really makes it exciting, and there's a lot of spectators here as well.
All right, they are getting just the last skiers now into their respective starting positions. I see a couple of folks heading up there, just getting ready at the 58-kilometer start. One or two skiers back here at the 32-kilometer. We should be waiting for the official blast to start the 85 Mora Vasaloppet. Are you a little singing back there from the 32 kilometers?
Oh, they got to keep warm. They're trying to keep warm. They're singing and raising their sticks and things like that. And they're going to the national anthem. They're singing the national anthem.
Since last we spoke, 15 degrees the temperature we heard a moment ago at race time. The wind has picked up a little bit. What do you think?
Well, it has, and I don't know if that'll cause the skiers any problem or not. They say they hope it doesn't get any warmer this afternoon, because, or at least that's what they say, because then it gets a little harder to make tracks and stuff like that. But they say the track, the first 5 miles of the track is in excellent condition, and after that we'll have to just wait and see what the weather is like and see what that is. But there it goes.
Whoa, and we are started.
Get a picture of this, Stone. This is great.
32-kilometer skiers coming by en masse.
You hear the boom?
How could you miss the boom?
You missed the boom. Bernie fired it from behind the trees over there. This is great, isn't it?
Go!
This is great to see.
An incredible sight. Hundreds and hundreds of skiers heading off.
What a sight. Oh, we got a few down here in front, but there must be close to 2,000 skiers here.
I know 2,000 was the limit last year. That was the most skiers ahead. I expect we'd be between 18 and 2 today.
This is just unbelievable. If you've never been up here, and if you're at home now, try to make it next year up to the start, because this is great. This is unbelievable. This mass of humanity, both, well, obviously both male and female both. It's just great. Young and old.
Just hundreds of skiers of any age and description.
There's a little kid there. He can't be much over
what, 6 or 7 maybe? Yeah.
It's a beautiful day, lots of sunshine,
These little kids coming.
Clear skies, and there's just a mass of colors here as these people go by. Blue and red and green, any color you can imagine. It's really a sight.
Now we are looking at the start of the 32-kilometer race, as just off to our south here, about 200, 300 yards or so, the 58-kilometer skiers were going. Now, is it going to work the same way as it did last year, Dan? Will they break off into separate trails somewhere a bit down the line?
I think Bernie said about 3 or 4 miles down the line, it just at a soup stop, it just branches off. The 32 goes one way, the 58 goes the other way, and then they it's just obviously just a shorter race. And the 52, I think, winds up around. The 38 goes more of a, or the 32 goes more of a straight shot to town, and the 58 goes and winds around more.
All right, we'll be back with more continuing coverage of the 1980.
Now in its 13th year, the Mora Vasaloppet is among the most long-established races in the U.S. It is rich in tradition. Traditions that are based on the Swedish Vasaloppet of Mora, Sweden, our sister city. Now in its 63rd year, the Swedish race reflects not only an activity, cross-country skiing that has been practiced throughout countless generations, but has a genuine base in folklore as well. About 1520 A.D., according to the legend, Sweden was occupied by invading Danish forces who held the whole country subject. During this occupation, a young nobleman named Gustav Vasa turned up in Mora, Sweden, trying to incite his countrymen to revolt in order to throw off the Danish oppression. He failed in this mission and was forced to flee. In an effort to save himself, he took the trail, via cross-country skis, from Mora towards Sallen and the Norwegian border. However, his friends in Mora had a change of heart and sent some of their number, again via cross-country skis, to overtake Gustav and bring him back to lead them. Of course, they did this, and the rest is history. The revolt was successful, and in time, Gustav Vasa was installed as King of Sweden. To this day, the House of Vasa occupies the throne. So, the tradition was established. The route from Sallen to Mora is the same route followed by the modern-day Swedish Vasaloppet. The very name of the race commemorates that event of long ago. Vasa, for the royal house of Sweden, and Loppet, meaning to ski or to run. Literally, the king's run. In fact, the motto of the Swedish race, "I faders spår för framtam sigra," meaning in the steps of our forefathers, dramatically carries the message of that tradition. It was only natural, then, that when our cross-country ski race was being planned, that our sister city ties with Mora, Sweden, would point to naming our race the Vasaloppet also. Permission was sought and granted, and thus, the Mora Vasaloppet USA was born. The number of skiers has grown steadily from the original 96 in 1973 to nearly 1,700 this year. And with growth comes tradition. In due time, of course, the Mora Vasaloppet will establish traditions of its own. One of the many traditions carried over to our race is the soup stop. There are 7 soup stops along the 58-kilometer course and 5 along the 32. These stops provide the skier with a chance to rest if needed, re-wax, eat some bread, drink a little water, and, for those traditional types, take in some of the famous blueberry soup. It is from the soup served along the route that the soup stops get their name. And for the unaccomplished ski tourer who just enters the race for the fun of it, a new club was formed last year, the Blueberry Super Club. It is a loosely formed, unstructured group of fun-loving tail-enders who would rather enjoy themselves than be serious about competing. As you can see, the Mora Vasaloppet does try to have something for everyone. What event is complete without a theme song? Let's listen now as Keith and Sue Lester, Mary Locken, and John Paulson perform The Ballad of the Vasaloppet.
When
halfway through both courses, the 58 and the 32, is the midpoint. The first skier from each race to pass through this point wins, logically enough, the midpoint award. The 1985 Mora Vasaloppet marked the first year the race was involved in the Ski to End Hunger program. Nearly 500 skiers committed themselves to getting pledges for the Save the Children Federation. Paul Thompson, the administrator of the Ski for Hunger program, explains more.
We're very thrilled with the expansion that we have reached, starting with 2 skiers 6 years ago. This year we'll have well over 500 skiers by the end of the year, and our goal is to raise $100,000 for Save the Children and also for local organizations working on issues of food, hunger, and poverty. 25% of the money that we raise here out of the Mora race will be contributed to the Mora Food Pantry, which is coordinated by Marge Bogie in the First Presbyterian Church. And also we want to give a special thanks to the people at Grace Lutheran Church who put up about 30 of us last night where we could meet other Ski to End Hunger people from around the state and around the country. I know the Mora race has always been very special for me because it symbolizes the essence of community involvement and community action. They say they have 800 volunteers, but it's more like, feels more like 8,000. And without those people from Mora and the people who organized the race, this would not happen. So
Save the Children stresses the philosophy that the best way to help people is to get the community involved in helping themselves. Programs are conducted which incorporate long-term development as compared to short-term relief. For that reason, Save the Children programs are more likely to have a permanent impact on the community. Mora is proud to have contributed to this fine program and looks forward to many years of cooperation. It is obvious that the ties with Sweden are strong ones. But here's something you may not have known. If you skied the Mora Vasaloppet in Sweden in 1981 or later, or the Mora Vasaloppet USA, you may qualify for special recognition by completing the race you didn't run the year before, Swedish or American, as the case may be. This is the American-Swedish Exchange Program, offering cross-country skiers the opportunity to win international medals by participating in both the Swedish Vasaloppet in Mora, Sweden, and the North American Vasaloppet at Mora, Minnesota, USA. For example, those who skied the Swedish Vasaloppet in 1981 or later are now eligible to receive the special International Vasa medal simply by completing the USA Vasaloppet. Likewise, anyone completing the North American Vasaloppet in 1981 or later may earn the medal by skiing the Swedish Vasaloppet. Let's rejoin WQPM's Race Day coverage with an interview with Bernie Matthey, who is in charge of the track maintenance.
In better shape than it's been in well, obviously last year. Obviously, it was better than last year, but the track in pretty good shape, right?
Yes, it's in the best shape since 1980. So that's 5 years now.
Do you expect maybe a record time today?
I would think so, yes, sure, because we got a couple of hot shots from Norway and some from Sweden, and also I happened to talk on the starting line down there where I set the blast off. There was Sean Coos, who was the winner of our first race in 1973, and so he's back in business again.
Well, Bernie, now you and your buddy Tom got to go on the snowmobiles and follow up.
Not only are the courses kept in excellent shape year-round, but local skiers are fortunate to have practice trails open and groomed for their training. Area skiers are familiar with the lighted ski trail at the grounds of the Kennebec County Historical Museum located at the end of West Forest Avenue in Mora. However, they are not so familiar with the network which has been prepared across Snake River from the museum. Not lighted, these trails are usable only during daylight hours and are accessible only by crossing the river ice. The practice loops at the start of the Vasaloppet Trail at Warman have been extensively lengthened, providing over 20 kilometers of skiing in this area. It must be emphasized, however, that all these trails are unsupervised, and the skier uses them at his or her own risk. Because no state money or aid is used in developing or maintaining these trails, cross-country licenses are not necessary to use them. Be sure to inquire when you come into Mora as to the availability and conditions of these trails. Another tradition borrowed from the Swedish Vasaloppet is the Kranskula, or Wreath Girl. She welcomes the skiers with the victor's wreath and various medals. The wreath, made from lemon leaves, is placed around the neck of the winner of each race to symbolize the victory. To serve as Kranskula is an honor sought by many, and the selection is not always an easy task. The woman chosen must be an interested cross-country skier who has given of her time to work on the Vasaloppet. The honor of serving as Kranskula is considered a special reward for her work. Throughout the race weekend and the year that follows, the Kranskula is present at various community functions dressed in traditional Swedish garb. 1985 Kranskula, Rhoda LaRude, had the honor of placing wreaths over the heads of 58-kilometer winner Oddvar Bro and 32-kilometer winner Kurt Steele. The final standings for the 58-kilometer race are as follows. Finishing first was Oddvar Bro of Norway with a time of 2 hours, 48 minutes and 35 seconds. In second place, Peter Jetta from Sweden at 2 hours, 53 minutes, 27 seconds. Third place went to Bjorn Arvnes of Norway. His time, 2 hours, 59 minutes and 23 seconds. The first woman to finish was Vigdis Renning of Norway. Her time was a respectable 3 hours, 24 minutes, 52 seconds. Michael Holsnagel was the first Mora skier to finish. In the 32-kilometer race, Kurt Steele of Eau Claire, Wisconsin took first place with a time of 1 hour, 33 minutes and 40 seconds. In second place, Steve Sellers from Edina. His time, 1 hour, 35 minutes, 26 seconds. Roger Pakiri of Ironwood, Minnesota, came in at third with a time of 1 hour, 37 minutes, 50 seconds. The first woman to finish, Carolyn Chatterton of Bruce, Wisconsin. Brad Skillicorn was the first Mora skier to finish. At the ceremony following the races, awards are given to skiers in many age classes. The 58-kilometer is divided into 4 male classes and 3 female. The 32 has 10 male and 10 female classes. The top 3 skiers in each class receive trophies and/or medals to recognize their achievement. From the novice skier to the world-class athlete, everyone has a good time at the Mora Vasaloppet in Mora, Minnesota. Join us next year on February 16th for the 1986 running of the Vasaloppet cross-country ski race.